Dream wide awake, finding all my worst mistakes. I'm a king they tried to break. I be here standing when it shake. Niggas truly being fake. I might be rude, but ain't a snake. My attitude be like a lake. Too deep, I swimming out of space. I'm out the hood, but out of trace. I'm looking good, look at my face. You look like Suge, you out of place. I look like Pac that night in Vegas. Feel like I done reached the final stages. Found that peace comes after rage. They thought I died, I turned the page. I paid the price for being okay. Come with haters in the shade. I lost it all, but still the same. Got something better in exchange. I'm living free, ain't got no chance. Everything from my brain, I got a vision like a train. I only focus on the pain. Think you know it's you insane.
Peace to you, brother Chuck. Good to see you again, Flocculator. Hope all is well in your neck of the woods, bro. As usual, we'll be getting started shortly. And a few more people get in here, we'll get started.
But I got scripts that's so divine. That's why I kill him every time. I'm at the top, no need to climb. In the kingdom I recline. My queen, she be a perfect time. My children next to me, I'm shining like a diamond. We gon' blind. I ain't lying. I be flying in the phoenix out the fire. Off my feet, I'm going higher. But grant me my desires. Feel like this a car I'm high. Going hard, ain't never died. I ain't trying to be admired. I just got it out the mind. You can't tell by my time. These niggas trying to lock me up behind these bars. I'm feeling like I'm easy now. I'm switching through these walls. Can't go be alive. Swing around, I look like Tiger. All this pain is my igniter. Now I lit up like a lighter. And when it all falls down, I'll be standing with the crown. Zion is the mountain. Ain't gonna be no crowd like a fountain. If you doubt it, you just look up in the sky behind the clouds and say, I'm in the light of
Peace and blessings to you, brother Chris. Glad to have you in the building today.
It's a beat by Flair. Feels so good. I'm feeling so good cause I got the keys. I'm at about the hood cause I finally made it. I'm gonna do what I should cause I'm dedicated. I'm gonna read out the book and you can't debate it. Seeing the truth when I'm meditating at the top of the room and I'm meditating. You feeling that doom, try to shake it. Working up by the tune, about to take it. Hearing the boom, I ain't gonna fake it. If you know you're a fool if you fuck with Satan, I'm gonna chill in the back blowing Gary Payton. Play a bitch to the left like a lemonade. I got a cape and I never save it. Stack Stack up the cake, but I never bake it. Stack up the paper that I've been making. Blow out the paper that I've been hating. I turn up the diamond and we can make it. It's about time that I recollect it. I'm about to shine cause I'm elected. Put all these diamonds up in my necklace. Got an alignment and got affected. I'm at the light and I'm reflecting. Out of the night and I'm reflecting. I'm coming up like cause I got the last. I got me shining so bright cause I got the flash. I'm the gas on the right cause I got the last. You see it through you like a weak confession. You've been worshiping the wrong complexion. You've been praying to the wrong protection. Red and law and now it's all connected. Roman falling now it's all in vain. I watch them fall as they all fade. I come when I talk like a summer shade. Fuck when I talk like I'm not a melody. They tried to lock me up like a melody. And Queen was getting down on the telly. Things was calling us for their belly. It was so hot in that bitch like Nelly. I was on team and I decided. Come on that shit that you trying to sell me. You niggas fake, I'ma be the real me. I have to wait till my papa sees me. You niggas ain't got what it take to kill me. You niggas ain't got what it take to feel. You niggas ain't got what it take to feel. Guess I got the chill. Just let me know when you got the bill. And I'ma let you know when I got the meal. Baby got the bag and I got the wheel. Coming right back when we got the feel. Now we never lack cause we got the deal. Shorty got my back and I got the shield. I'm just getting back but they tried to steal. They know I'm back there about the needle. I'm about to attack cause I got the seal. I turn on the diamond and reconnect it. It's about time that I recollect it. I'm about to shine cause I'm elected. Put all these diamonds up in my necklace. Got an alignment and got effective. I'm at the light and I'm reflecting. Out of the night and I'm reflecting.
All good over here in my neck of the woods, brother Chris. Thank you for asking, brother. All good, and Abba is good always. How's things going with you, my bro? Praise Abba indeed, brother. I'm glad to hear it, man. I'm glad to hear it. We're going to be reading from the book of John. So if y'all bros want to follow along, that'd be good. The book of John, starting in chapter 18. That's what we're going to be reading from. Now, y'all bros that are here, y'all know that recently we've been talking about completeness, wholeness, something being brought to a finish. And we've also been talking about the mysteries of the beloved one of Christ that most people don't know. Most people never inquire about. And it's not really a shock when you understand who God's people are. God says his people, Israel, they don't know who they are, nor do they consider. And when you hear that part about nor do they consider, it helps you to understand why they don't know a whole lot of other stuff about the Father, because they just don't consider a lot of stuff, you see. All praise to the Most High, Brother Chuck. You said you're in the process of moving. I know how that can be, man. I've said it again. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I hate moving. And it's ironic, as much as I hate moving, how much Abba has had me moving, especially over the last decade. He's had me bouncing around like the Israelites when they came out of Egypt. I'm like, dang, I never thought this would be my life. Somebody would have asked me 10 years ago if I would have thought anything that's been happening would have been happening. My answer would have been no, there's no way. Shit, I've been planning and saving and working and doing all kind of shit. I'm married, have a family here, and have set roots down and everything. Abba didn't care. Shit, he uprooted all them roots. He was like, I didn't plant that. I don't know what you think you got going on with this life you call your life. But it ain't your real life, you see? And so I be having to move around a lot. And boy, is it a stressful process, man. Brother Chuck said we're pilgrims, bro. That's the truth. That's what the scripture says, man. We're sojourners, man, and pilgrims. You know, it's interesting that you said that, brother, considering that Abba said that we were these things, but he also told us that there's a specific time when we must really take hold of that. You see what I'm saying? He said, in the end, be as pilgrims and as sojourners on the earth. And most people don't take the time to really understand how a pilgrim lives his life. You see, they get too connected to things, situations, relationships, environments. They get too connected to it as if it's forever, not realizing that nothing in this life is forever. That's the thing about this life. It's temporal, you see? And that's why we're to die to it daily. Most people can't, though. They get too bogged down and too connected to things, you see? Brother Chris said, I moved a lot too, man. I hate it as well. I know, man. It's like you finally get settled. You got everything right how you wanted it to be, so you thought. And as soon as you finally settle on in and get comfortable in it and everything, up, you gotta go. Damn! Sheesh, I just kicked my shoes off. Now I gotta get ready to move again. Then you gotta get the boxes and put all the stuff in the boxes. Well, all praises to the Most High. I ain't got no boxes when I move no more, little fly. I used to have a moving company come and shit, move all my shit and everything. Not anymore. Somebody be like, you gotta go, grandson. I just go get my backpack. You hear me? I go get my backpack, throw that shit over my shoulder. Go grab my kids and everything. All right, time to move to the next location, y'all. And hopefully I can leave my peace upon that house. But sometimes I have to dust my feet off when I leave. Because some people ain't did the grandson right when he didn't travel around the earth. Y'all hear me? Just like I'm sure you guys, you know. But yes, we're pilgrims indeed, bros. We're pilgrims indeed. So I know most people wasn't expecting me, or most of the flockulators wasn't expecting me to go live right now. That may be why they're not coming in, but it's all good. Because we're going to go ahead and do this, get into this little mysterious dessert that we got here that the Most High done gave us. Like I said, we've been talking about the beloved one of Yahusha, who most people don't know nothing about, even though the Bible says it right on in there. You know how we do. The obvious things that are in the Bible that have been hidden from the minds of men, that's the kind of stuff we talk about. We talk about stuff that people be like, that's really in the Bible. Does it really say that, grandson, or is this just some fanciful stuff you've come up with? Well, the fact that you may think that I've come up with it is a compliment to me, because it's pretty good if you say I came up with it. You must be calling me wise or something. But if you don't think I've come up with it on my own, then that means that you know where the information came from, and that's the Spirit of the Most High. And he's going to give us some more today. So let's go on and get into it before we get too late, little flockulators. And we'll let some more people come in if they do, and if they don't, then they don't. All right. John chapter 18. We're going to start at, well, let's just start at verse 1 and read down, and let's see what the Spirit reveals to us about this beloved one of Yahusha and what that means at the end of the world. You see, like I've always said, what does it mean when this beloved one, the grandson keeps talking about, this grandson, this branch? What does it mean for the world? Well, we're going to get some more insight into it tonight, Abba willing. When Yahusha had spoken these words, he went forth with his disciples over the brook Cedron, where was a garden, into the which he entered and his disciples. So we all know that that word disciples means the branches. So the true vine goes into a garden along with the branches. You hear that, little flock? And he would often go there. And Judas also, which betrayed him, knew the place. For Yahusha oftentimes resorted thither with his disciples. You see that, little flockulators? Brother Carlton Hill's in the building. Glad to have you here, brother. We just started. We just getting into it. John chapter 18. We're in verse 2. We started at verse 1, but we're in verse 2 right now. Von Reborn in the building. Welcome, welcome, brother. Always good to have you here at the School of Marvelous Light. Like I said, we just started. We're in the book of John chapter 18. Started in verse 1. We're down to verse 2 now. But what we're talking about is the mysteries of the beloved one of Yahusha. What that means, because the world has never talked about the beloved one of Yahusha. They don't even know about him. They don't know what that means for the world. But that's what we're here to do at the School of Marvelous Light, is to shine the light. You see? So we're gonna get into this dessert that Abba got for us. He already laid the meal out for us last time, but now we're gonna get into the dessert just to confirm. You see? All right. So John chapter 18, verse 2. So Judas also, which betrayed him, he knew the place, for Yahushua oftentimes resorted thither with his disciples. So it's a place that Yahushua went often with his disciples, you see, and Judas would go as well. So he knew the place. Now let's just see what happens here, little flock. Judas then, having received a band of men and officers from the chief priests and far from seas, cometh thither with lanterns, torches, and weapons. Stop. So now, some people came with Judas. Who were these people that Judas had received that came with him? What did it say there? Now, the reason why I'm pointing it out is because it's the same thing that's happening today. It's not anything different, you see? It's the same thing happening today. But this time, the scripture says, not by power, nor by might, but by my spirit. You see that? Nor not by power. You see that? That's Moses when he did all the signs and all the wonders. That's how Abba displayed his power to the Egyptians the first time he displayed himself. Might, that's Yahusha. He came a conquering Lion of Judah, and he conquered over the enemy and over the gates of hell that did not prevail against it, like he said. Now, the third time, he said he's going to do it by his spirit. Does that coincide with what the scripture says and what Yahusha said? I will send one when the spirit of truth is come. So then we know that the third part of the plant represents the spirit. Y'all see that there, little flock of laters? You see? So let's continue to dig and let's see what we get. So now, Judas came with a band of men. These men were officers from who? It says the chief priests and the far from seas. Who that is, little flock? That's the Levitical priesthood that I keep telling you guys about. What do the Levitical priesthood stand on? If you don't know, then you don't know what kind of attacks are going to come for you. Because this attack is coming from the one that you love, your master. So he said, if they have hated me, then they shall definitely hate you. If they have persecuted me, they will persecute you. So the they that's doing all this damn persecuting, we need to know exactly who they are. The grandson's telling you exactly who they are. Did you know that, by the way? Did you guys know who the they was? Well, if you know who they are, confirm it in the chat so we can all see that we're on the same page with who our enemies are. Since we're the flockulators, we're all one team, and we're indeed in the spiritual warfare, then we all need to agree concerning our enemy, correct? Or we just on the battlefield just aimlessly shooting. But like Paul, I don't just swing at the wind when I fight. I'm not just punching at the air when I fight. I'm punching to hit a specific target. And I'm trying to hit the most vulnerable target when I hit, like David did to Goliath. I ain't messing around, playing around, trying to think about what to do. I'm looking at the most vulnerable spot on that nigga, and then I'm attacking. Do y'all hear me, little flock of haters? That's what I'm doing. You see? Brother Vaughn said the carnal versus the spiritual mind. You see that, little flock? So the war that we're waging is in the mind. And as the scripture said, it's spirit. This is how he's going to conquer. Spirit means invisible. So there's something taking place inside the flockulators. They're not the same as they were in the beginning because Abba has began a work in the flock. And once he's begun it, he's going to carry it out to its fulfillment. Like he said, does he bring the woman to the labor and not cause her to bear? Nope, he bring that baby. So it's the same thing with us, little flock. You see? Brother Carter said, boom, headshot. You know how it is. You know, we're not about to wait. You know what I'm saying? The flockulators, we're like ninjas. We're hiding all up on the house, all in the shadows and the darkness. And when Abba says attack, we attack with ferocity. We're trying to take the target out without any remnants left because we've learned. Every time Abba would say, don't show no mercy, and we did, what happened? We suffered. Every time Abba would say, annihilate them, and then we wouldn't, we suffered. So that this time, when Abba says annihilate, what you think the flocculator's about to do? Something else? No. Annihilation, what does it say? Annihilation protocol has been implemented. And we about to go crazy. That's all there is to it. So just to prove how much of a, like ninjas, I said, like we are, just to prove how much of ninjas we are, we're meeting at night, first of all, right now, little flock. And secondly, well, it's kind of fitting because what's going on right here is happening at night too. You see that? But the reason why is because what we're doing is hidden from the world, because they do not consider the things that we're talking about here at the School of Marvelous Light. You see it? That's right, Brother Carlton Hills. He said they get nuked. That's the truth. That's the truth. In 1 second, in 1 hour, it should be over. You see? And it's all because when you believe what we're believing here at the School of Marvelous Light and you agree, there's nothing that can stop it. I would need some people to prove that. He needs some faithful people. That's why it says he's looking for faith. The Son of Man come, the Son of Man looking for some faithful people so they can do some faithful work, because faith moves mountains, and we're going to prove it, little flock. Okay? So let's continue. So the chief priest and the far from seas. Now remember, that's the Levitical priesthood. Let's first of all, I told you, we have to confirm this. Y'all with me? This is the Levitical priesthood. So the they that attacked Yahusha was who? The Levitical priest. The chief priest. The far from seas. Y'all see that? It's the same people doing it today. Y'all hear that part? I need to confirm that with y'all. Y'all are aware of who your enemy is, right? Well, let's continue. So they came thither with lanterns, torches, and weapons. Y'all see that little flop? They had weapons too when they came. These supposed to be the priests of the Most High. They had weapons and torches and lanterns. Why you need torches and lanterns? Probably because it's at night what you're doing. Y'all hear that, little flockulators? It's at night. Y'all see? And it's a reason for everything that's happening here, but we're about to get into it. Let's continue. They answered, Yahushua, therefore, knowing all things that should come upon him, went forth and said unto them, whom seek ye? He said, who y'all looking for? Y'all hear that, little flock? Now watch what's about to happen here next, just to prove a little thing about power. He said, who you seek? Now I need y'all to hear what's about to happen with the branches here as well, because the same thing is going to happen here at the end. You see, I told y'all, a storm breeze blows through on a tree. It breaks off all the weak branches, and all the branches were in that have not beared any fruit. Fruit requires faith. If you don't have faith, you cannot bear any fruit, because if you don't have faith, you can't even please God. I don't care what you try to do. You can't please him. So in order to please him, you have to have faith. You see it? If you don't have faith, then that branch is going to be broken off and withered and cast into a flame. You see that? And it's going to happen to the people that say that they serve Christ. They're going to keep being shaken until all of the false are broken off, snapped off, and all the fruitless are snapped off. You see? And that happens when the branch stands up. Like I said, and I've proven it to you guys in scripture, but we're going to continue to prove it, and we're going to continue to prove a little bit more mysterious things, like I said, as we dig a little deeper. So let's go. They answered him, Yahushua of Nazareth. Yahushua said unto them, I am he. And Judas also, which betrayed him, stood with him. So he said, I am he. Now watch what happens when he says, I am he. And as soon then as he had said unto them, I am he, they went backward and fell to the ground. Then asked he them again, whom seek ye? And they said, Yahushua of Nazareth. And he answered, I have told you that I am he. Watch this, little flock. If therefore you seek me, let these go their way. Who is the these that he is saying, let them go their way? Who? That's right, Brother Chuck. The branches. So he says, let these go their way. If y'all are looking for me, the true vine, then let the branches go their way. Now, let's just see how this plays itself on out. And you guys will be able to really confirm the grandson who'll be talking to y'all. Y'all going to be like, well, he just keeps on doing this Lego thing. He keeps clicking these damn Legos on top of one another, and they keep on clicking. So let's get to clicking about this beloved one of Yahusha and what he does, because it goes under the radar of everybody. It's hidden, you see? So let's see. Yahusha answered, I have told you that I am he. If therefore you seek me, let these go their way. Like you guys said, the branches, let them go their way, that the saying might be fulfilled, which he spake, of them which thou gavest me, have I lost none. Then Simon Peter, y'all hear that? Then Simon Peter, having a sword, drew it and smote the high priest's servant and cut off his right ear. The servant's name was Malchus. Okay, so Peter cut the man's ear off. Most people know all about that part, but they don't know about this other stuff that we're going to uncover. So he cuts the man's ear off, right? Then Yahushua says unto Peter, put up thy sword into the sheath. The cup. Do y'all hear that? Did y'all see that was the title of this video? The cup. Did y'all see that? The cup which my Father hath given me, shall I not drink it? So what does that mean, little flock? What is Yahushua saying there? The cup that my Father hath given me, shall I not drink it? What does that mean? Brother Chuck says the will of I am. The will of I am for Yahushua. Brother Chris says to live what he must live. Okay. Brother Carlton says what the Father has for me, shall I not fulfill it? Exactly, guys. That's exactly right. What the Father's will is for him, what the experiences he's about to go through, or the things he's going to have to face on his journey as a sojourner, like we said earlier, as a pilgrim, the things he's going to have to go through, the things he's going to have to endure. You see? Shall he not endure it? So why is the grandson bringing you guys attention to this? Because there's a thing mentioned there called a cup. And I want you guys to keep that in your mind because it's going to come up a little bit later on in this message. Okay? About that cup, his experiences. Once, okay, let me ask you guys like this. If you have a friend, what knits you guys together? Is it your commonality, common experiences, being able to relate to one another? Does that knit two people together? Well, them having the similar experiences means they have the same knowledge. You see what I mean? So that's a cup, the experiences you go through. And that brings you to the knowledge of something when you drink the cup, you see? The experiences increase knowledge, correct, little flock? It's like an old man. When you're a young kid, he'd be like, you just don't understand yet. You ain't got enough experience. And you don't be trying to hear that shit when you're young. But then as you get older and you experience a little more, then you go to that same old man and you say, I understand now. Now I'm a friend to you because now I understand what you were talking about. I've experienced it. And that has made us one. Our experiences have made us kindred. Y'all hear that, little flockulators? Brother Vaughn says the cup of suffering. There you have it. There you have that there. So he mentioned this cup before when he was praying in that same garden where he's standing now, right? He had just got done praying about the cup right before the soldiers came, right, little flock? And what was he saying about the cup? What did Yahushua say about his cup? Right before them soldiers that we're reading about now, right before they came, he prayed a prayer 3 times. And what did he say? That's right, Brother Vaughn. That's exactly right. Just like the bitter herb. And the bitter herb is eaten by the Israelites during what feast? Watch this, how this is about to click like Legos. They eat the bitter herb at a specific feast. Which feast is that? And the bitter herb that they were eating during that feast represents the suffering that they went through. Just like you said, brother. That's right, Brother Chris. He prayed for it to pass from him. So does that mean he wanted to do it? Or does that mean he would rather not have? That's right, Brother Carlton. That was his prayer. If it's your will, Father, let this cup pass from me. So he didn't want to drink the cup, did he? So that means it must be a hell of a cup to drink, correct? Well, he alone drank that cup, but then we're going to see that cup get brought up again. Y'all hear me, little flock? That's why I'm putting all this attention on that thing called a cup, or a series of experiences to bring you to a certain level. In order to be perfect, you have to drink this cup. And like you guys broke down, that cup is suffering. Brother Vaughn said, nevertheless, your will be done. That's right. So he said, though he didn't want to, you see, though he did not want to pass through that or drink that cup, he said, well, it's not my will. It's not about what I want. You see? And that's really the bitterness that man has. Can y'all hear the grandson? That's truly his bitterness. It's him laying his life down, him laying his will down. That's bitter to him. That's scary to him. That's fearful to him. That's his life. That's everything he's ever known. And for him to give it up is a fearful thing. But he hath not believed Christ's words if he doesn't. And we all know that no fearful shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. You guys know that. You see, it's all about giving up. You see, that's what suffering is about. Giving up your will, what you think concerning a thing. You see? All right, but watch this. He says, the cup my father have given me to drink, shall I not drink it? Then the band and the captains and the officers of the Jews took Yahusha and bound him and led him away to Annas first, for he was father-in-law to Caiaphas, which was the high priest that same year. Remember I told you guys who the enemies of the truth were? Who are there? Who are the enemies of the truth here? It says the Jews. It says the chief priest, and it also says the high priest himself, a man who was living in a palace at the time named Caiaphas. Do you all see that, little flockulators? All right. So Caiaphas was the high priest that same year. Now Caiaphas was he which gave counsel to the Jews that it was expedient that one man should die for the people. Now I asked a question earlier. Brother Vaughn mentioned the bitter herb, and it represents the suffering. I asked a question. I said, what feast day does the children of Israel eat the bitter herb? Does anyone know? They were told to eat, I'll give you guys some hints. They were told to eat some lamb. They were told to eat some certain kind of bread. And they were also told to eat some bitter herb. What feast day is that? That's right, Brother Christopher. Passover. Now, you guys know I'm always talking about clicking Legos, right? Let's see if the Legos are going to click here about the suffering and about that specific day. You see? Let's continue. Now, Caiaphas was he which gave counsel to the Jews that it was expedient that one man should die for the people. That's right, Brother Vaughn. Get the leaven out. That's right. That's right. So y'all on to the right. Watch the breadcrumbs how I'm leaving them. Watch. Y'all going to see exactly what I'm saying. Watch. And Simon Peter followed Yahusha. And so did, watch this, little flock. Like I said, this is the mysterious thing the grandson keeps bringing out to everybody. Watch. And Simon Peter followed Yahusha. So when they took Yahusha, what happened? Simon Peter followed after him, right? And so did another disciple. So did Simon Peter follow after Yahusha by himself? No Peroni. That's right. So there's a mysterious other individual there, isn't there? And he's called a disciple, so we know he's a branch. So then two of the branches are following after the true vine here, correct? Well, let's see what happens with these two branches. We know one of them's named Peter. We don't know the other one. We just know that he's there. You see that? Now watch what it says. That disciple, so the other disciple that was with Peter, was known unto the high priest. So Caiaphas also knew this other disciple of Yahusha. You see? Watch this here. It's so miscible, if you ain't watching, watch this, and went in with Yahusha into the palace of the high priest. So then when Yahusha was taken into the palace of the high priest, did one of the disciples go in with him? Did it say Simon went in? Because it said he was following. Did it say he went in, or did it say the other one went in? What did it say, y'all? Y'all break it down for me. All right, Brother Carlton, that's right. So that other disciple went in, but not Simon. Now let's confirm that, because there's a reason for everything, isn't there? There's a reason for everything, all right? But Peter stood at the door without. So then the one disciple went in with Yahusha, but Peter didn't go in. He stood without. Isn't that right, little flock? Why do y'all think that's there? Because it is. And does it happen to be a disciple, another disciple of Yahusha? Yep, it is. Brother Chris says John went in. John went in, and I don't know what that word hymns. It looks like the one who actually let Peter in. All right, see? Now we're about to get into that next. You see? Why? Why was John able to go in and then he had to turn and then let Peter in? Well, let's just see. Let's continue it, because it's a matter of faith, guys. That's what I started saying earlier. It's about faith. Yahusha always talked about faith, did he not? Was he not perturbed at the people that didn't have faith? He even called them names. He even called them out every time he saw it, right? So then you know that's what he's looking for. You see it? Well, let's continue to see. But Peter stood at the door without. Then went out that other disciple. So then he was in, then he went back out, which was known unto the high priest, and spake to her that kept the door, and brought in Peter. Do y'all see that? Okay, you said he's talking about hymns. Okay, I got you. So John went in, and he's the one who actually let Peter in. That's right. Now that's just thrown in there for any old reason, or is there a reason that's there, guys? That's my question. Is there a reason why John was able to go in and then he had to go get Peter and bring Peter in? Well, let's see what Peter does here next. Like I said, it's a matter of faith. So let's see what Peter do. And the servants and officers stood there, who made a fire of coals, for it was cold. And they warmed themselves, and Peter stood with them and warmed himself. The high priest then asked Yahusha of his disciples and of his doctrine. So the high priest was sitting there, and Caiaphas was like, hey, man, hey, Yahusha, what's up with these branches of yours here, these other men that are wandered at? Like I told you guys, what's up with these men that are wandered at and your doctrine that you teach? What's that stuff you be teaching? Now, this is the high priest that supposedly knows the right way to teach, knows the truth, and knows the right way to lead the people, right? Even though we know that ain't the truth, as it is today, you see? Brother Carlton said it's definitely a reason. That's right, little flock. There is definitely a reason. You see it? Because, well, I'll get into it before I jump ahead. Let's just keep letting the scriptures roll. Verse 19, the high priest then asked Yahusha of his disciples and of his doctrine. Yahusha answered him, I spake openly to the world. I ever taught in the synagogue and in the temple, whether the Jews always resort, and in secret have I said nothing. So he's like, everything I said wide openly to the world. I didn't hide anything. Why asketh me? Ask them which heard me. So then ask the branches. Don't ask me. Ask them what I told them. You see? What I have said unto them, behold, they know what I said. So he says, ask the branches. And when he had thus spoken, one of the officers who stood by struck Yahusha with the palm of his hand. So he smacked Yahusha, saying, answerest thou the high priest so? You answer the high priest like that? So Melchizedek is standing there. The high priest of Melchizedek is standing there. And then you have the high priest of Levitical order standing there, and they're at war. Didn't I tell you guys that's the case with you guys today? Because if you're chosen by Yahusha, it says you were chosen to become a nation of kings and priests. That's what I am. Like I've told you guys, a king and a priest after the order of Melchizedek. Because once you're chosen by Yahusha, that's what you become. There's someone who's going to introduce that information to the flock and introduce to them the way to how they obtain it. That's what John was just doing there. But we're going to get into it a little bit deeper. You see? Okay. So now, Yahusha answered, if I have spoken evil, bear witness of the evil. So if I said something evil, then tell me what evil thing I said. But if what I have said, I've spoken well, then why smitest thou me? Now Annas had sent him bound unto Caiaphas the high priest, and Simon Peter stood and warmed himself. They said therefore unto him, art not thou also one of his disciples? Peter, aren't you one of his branches? He denied it and said, I am not. Do you see why John was able to go right on in, but Peter had to get brought in by John? What does John mean? Skeet and deedly, can you understand me? Cause I make that shit clear, so crystal clearly. If you have eyes to see it, then you know exactly what I'm saying is true. If you have eyes to see it, then you know that what I'm saying is the truth. Okay? So Peter denied him. Why do you think he denied him? Well, while y'all marinate on that, I'm going to go ahead and keep reading. One of the servants of the high priest, being his kinsman, whose ear Peter cut off, said, did not I see thee in the garden? So they were just in the garden when Peter cut the man ear off. He like, didn't I see you in the garden when you cut my homeboy, my brother's ear off? Said he was his kinsman. So he's like, didn't you cut my brother's ear off? Didn't I see you in the garden? Let's see what Peter says, little flock. Let's see. Peter then denied again. Uh-oh, he denied again. Y'all see that, little flock-a-lators? Brother Skill sliding in home base, he was afraid. Brother Carlton said he lost faith and got scared because of fear, Brother Chris said. But Chuck says fear. Do y'all hear it, little flock-a-lators? So at this hour on the earth, Yahusha is going to call us to a higher standard. And many there be are not going to be able to attain to it out of fear. That's why I'm here to warn y'all of that. Do y'all see it? Because who the hell wants to hear that they're going to suffer? Well, we just noticed Yahusha didn't want to either. So then why would any one of us want to? We don't. So then when we're told that we will, then who the hell wants to hear that? Well, let's see. Let's just see how the cock crows. Let's just see. Then Peter denied, and immediately the cock crew. Then led they Yahusha from Caiaphas unto the hall of judgment, and it was early, and they themselves went not. Watch this. Now, Brother Chris, I asked you earlier about the day when they eat the bitter herb. Remembering what the bitter herb means suffering. So this means when you're called to partake of the suffering necessary, most people are going to run away or fall away. That's faithlessness. They're going to fall away when they see the cup that's necessary to partake of. But as we see, there's one who goes into the judgment hall with Yahusha. It just happens to be the same one that Yahusha gave the inheritance to that I was telling you guys about on the other message. Do y'all hear that, little flock-a-lators? I hope y'all do. I hope y'all do. Okay? Brother Von Reborn says the branch waved the flag of peace. That's right. That's right. So let's see here. It says, and they themselves, verse 28, went not into the judgment hall. Who is they themselves? The Jews. You see that? They went not in, lest they should be defiled, but that they might eat the Passover. So do you see how it's all connecting like Legos, like I told y'all before? You eat the bitter herb at Passover. Now, what feast day is coming up right here when Yahushua is drinking the bitter herb or the bitter wine or the bitter cup or whatever you want to call it? What feast day is going on? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Can y'all hear what I'm saying to you? All right. That's right, Brother Skill. The one who was in Yahushua's bosom. He's being brought up here again. As we read earlier, I don't know if you guys may have missed it. When Yahushua was brought into the high priest, John went in with Yahushua, but there was no other disciples there with him. Peter himself also stood on the outside of the door. John went and got Peter and brought him in, and then Peter denied him after he was brought in. Because it's the time of bitterness. It's the time of darkness, Yahushua called it. Do you see? That's why I'm preparing the little flock for it right now. And there are only going to be a few that find it. The salvation of how to overcome the bitterness and the sadness that is about to occur on the earth, unlike any other time. Yahushua said that. He said it's the worst time, unlike any other time has ever been and ever shall be. So I think it's going to be pretty bad. But there is a salvation and there's a way out. And he's granted it to us by his spirit. And I'm here to share it with you all. You see? And I'm going to prove to you about how this particular branch got the information, because he's going to do something. I'm going to prove that he's going to do it. All right. So then they didn't want to be defiled, so they wanted to eat the Passover. Y'all see that, little flockulators? Pilate then went out unto them and said, what accusation bring you against this man? They answered and said unto him, if he were not a malefactor, we would not have delivered him up to thee. Then said Pilate unto them, take ye him and judge him according to your law. The Jews therefore said unto him, it is not lawful for us to put any man to death, that the saying of Yahushua might be fulfilled, which he spake, signifying what death he should die. Then Pilate entered into the judgment hall again and called Yahushua and said unto him, are you the king of the Jews? Yahushua answered him and says, thou this thing of thyself, or did others tell it of me? Pilate answered, am I a Jew? Thine own nation and the chief priests have delivered you unto me. What have you done? Yahushua answered, my kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight. Then I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now is my kingdom not from hence. Pilate therefore said unto him, art thou a king then? Yahushua answered, thou sayest I am a king. To this end was I born, and for this cause came I into the world, that I should bear witness unto the truth. Everyone that is of the truth heareth my voice. Pilate said unto him, what is truth? And when he had said this, he went out again unto the Jews and said unto them, I find in him no fault at all. But you have a custom that I should release unto you one at the Passover. See the specific time the grandson is telling you guys about, the Passover? You see? Now, what happens at the Passover? If you guys don't think it's going to be very sorrowful, that it's going to be very sad and depressing, what takes place at the Passover, guys? You don't think it's the hour of darkness. What takes place at Passover? If you aren't protected, what will happen to your ass? What happened, fellas? On Passover, if you didn't have that blood protecting you, what would take place with you? Your firstborn. That's right, brother Von Reborn, the day of Ophel that Abba told me to warn. Like I said, I'm warning, but few there be that will hear it, and few there be that will find salvation as well, because they're too busy eating and drinking, going about, being given in marriage and everything else Yahushua said. Y'all hear me? That's right, brother Chris. Death comes. That's right, brother Carlton. You gonna die. Y'all hear that shit? Did you hear that warning? Y'all gonna die. Did you hear it? Now, when I actually gave this message, when Abba put the word in my mouth and I spoke it, that's actually exactly what I said. You're all going to die. So it's not like I'm joking about it. It's not like I'm trying to say it's not an Ophel day. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. You see? Because death comes. Isn't that what's coming here? Isn't it Passover? And there's a lamb, again, having to be sacrificed. And if you're protected in the blood of that lamb, then the death angel has to pass over you. So then in order for the death angel to pass over, what must you be eating? The Passover meal, which means you have become one with Christ. That's eating Christ. You have become one with him. You have eaten the unleavened bread, which means you have gotten your hypocrisy out of yourself, which means you're no longer being a judgmental prick, an asshole, some type of over righteous or over wicked person. You are now balanced individual, just like Christ, the man in the middle, crucified between two. Do y'all understand what the grandson be talking about? That's the unleavened bread. There's no hypocrisy in. And then you have to eat the bitter herb, which is the suffering, the injustice of iniquity. Isn't Yahushua going through all of that right now on this day? Okay, let's continue. So they said, there's a custom. I released one at Passover. Were you therefore that I release unto you the King of the Jews? They cried, they all again, saying, not this man, but Barabbas. Now Barabbas was a robber. So they said, send us that robber. The hell with this guy. Crucify him. Isn't that right, little flock? Now, when all this took place with Yahushua, who was with him? Out of all of his branches, who was with him during this event? All right. Now that we've read that chapter, who was with him when he was going through all of that? Man, y'all on it, brothers. Y'all on it. That's right. There's one particular branch with him while he's drinking the cup. Guys, you notice that? All right. Now let's see what Yahushua says. Matthew 26. Okay. Matthew 26. Now we read John 18. Now let's get some more context over here in Matthew 26 and let's see what we see, what we uncover. All right. Let's get straight to the point. Let's go to verse. Let's go to verse 31. Well, let's go to verse 30. Now in John 18, when the soldiers came to take Yahushua, they came to the Mount of Olives, correct? So let's see. Matthew 26, verse 30. And when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. Do y'all see that, little flock? So it's the same scenario, same night, same situation, same event. Let's see what we see. Then said Yahushua unto them. So when he took them into the Mount of Olives, then he says something to his disciples, his branches. What is he going to say to his branches? Let's see. All you shall be offended because of me this night. Stop. I hope y'all can hear that nice and good. This is the same night when they came to take him that we read about in John 18. That's why there wasn't nobody with him when they took him. Why? Because he just said why. Because they will all be offended. So then that means that the followers of Christ, many people have professed to follow him. But when crunch time gets on, as you can see, the hour of temptation, which we read about in Revelation, the grandson keeps telling you guys what you must do during the hour of temptation in order to overcome and win. Why the hell am I telling you guys this? Because of what this Bible is saying about this beloved one. He has a unique message that he carries. Why? Well, let's get into it. I don't want to get ahead of myself. All you shall be offended. Who is he talking to when he says they're all going to be offended? Some random people? Well, no, it says they went into the Mount of Olives. So him and his disciples went there. We read that in John. So then it's only his branches are around him. And he says they're all going to be offended. All of them going to be offended at him. You hear that? This night. What night? The night of Passover. Can you hear me today? Can you hear me today? Can you? For it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. So when the shepherd gets smitten, then the flock will be scattered. Isn't that what it says? Watch this. But after I am risen again, I will go before you into Galilee. So he says, you're all going to be offended. You're all going to be scattered, and you're going to run away from me. That's what he said, right? Okay, then. So let's continue. He says, Peter answered and said unto him, though all men shall be offended because of thee, yet will I never be offended. Stop. So now, remember I asked you guys, he didn't go in with Yahusha, but one of them did go in with Yahusha and then came back, and by grace, which is what Yochanan means, called Peter in by grace. Correct? Is that what you guys received from that message? Okay, well, let's continue. Let's continue. So it says they're all going to be offended, right? Right? And Peter says, not me. But was Peter offended? Did he get offended? Even though he said he wasn't going to, did he? Now, there's one sitting there that didn't say anything, but he wasn't offended. We've discovered who that is. But let's continue. So did Peter get offended, even though he said he wasn't going to? Okay. Yahushua saith unto him, verily I say unto you that this night, see, it's all about this night, Thriller night. This is Thriller. That's Passover, guys. Thriller night. That's Passover. That's Thriller. You see? The #1 killing album of all time. Shit. It's the Passover. Y'all hear me, little flock? Yahushua said, verily I say unto you, this night before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice. Peter said unto him, though I should die with thee, yet will I not deny thee. Likewise also said all the disciples. So now at that point, then they all got bold. They were like, shit, no. I'm not going to deny either. They all said it. Y'all hear that, little flock? Y'all see that? Sister Raven in the building. Peace to you. Good to see you here at the School of Marvelous Light today. Robert Novotny, if I'm pronouncing that correct. Peace to you. Says, Yahushua is such a pure light and love that demons are fear of him all the time, especially now. Oh, yeah. Then ain't that what the scripture says? They'd be like, Jesus, have you come to destroy us before the time? Yeah, they're terrified of the truth. You see that today? Any lie is terrified of the truth. I told you guys, demon means unclean message. Demonic person means a person who gives unclean messages. Angel means messenger of light. So a demon has to disguise himself as an angel of truth, but he's actually telling you lies. So then when a person who's lying comes face to face with the truth, how the hell do you think they feel? Great fear is how they feel. Don't expose me, please. Don't expose me. That's how that rat be in the dark. That's how that roach be in the dark. The hypocritas, cucaracha, is hiding in the dark. He's like, please, don't open the cabinet door. Just let me stand here and eat all the Cheerios I want to eat. I don't want to be exposed. As soon as you open the cabinet, they take off. Y'all hear me, little fuck? They take off and they scatter. You see? So now he says, y'all gonna be offended and y'all are gonna want to leave me. Peter says, not me. And the other guy said, not me, but they did it. You see, they didn't, he denied, and then they scattered. All right. So in verse 35, Peter said, though I should die with thee, yet I will not deny thee. Likewise said also all the disciples. Y'all see? All right. Now let's see what happens next. Then Yahushua cometh unto them unto a place called Gethsemane, and saith unto the disciples, sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. So he told the branches, stay here. I'm about to go a little bit further and pray. But he's not about to go alone. Watch this. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Is that suffering? Like I told you guys? Yes. How come he took Peter, James, and this other one with him? This one we keep talking about. Is the one we keep talking about, is he taken further into the garden to where the suffering and sorrow is taking place at? Yeah. Yeah. All right. The night of temptation. You see it? Now, just in case anybody's wondering if it is, let's go down to verse 41 and make sure this is Thriller night. Let's make sure this is Thriller night. Watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. See, the spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Y'all hear that? Now, we were talking about this when we were reading John, right, guys? And we were talking about him having to drink the cup. Now, let's see if he mentions it again here. Verse 42. And he went away again the second time and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done. Y'all see that, little flock? All right, then. Nah. Verse 44, and he left them and went his way again and prayed the third time, saying the same words. So he prayed about that cup 3 times like we discussed earlier, right? Now I want to get a little tidbit about this cup before we move forward, all right? All right, guys, get a little bit more about this cup. Okay, go to Matthew chapter 20 real quick, little flockulators. Matthew chapter 20. Now I've been harping on this cup, right, guys? This cup of suffering, this cup of affliction that he has to drink in order to fulfill what Abba's will is for him. All right, Matthew 20. Now, what we need to do is we need to confirm about this cup. Okay, Matthew 20. Let's go to verse. Okay, let's go to verse 17. Matthew chapter 20, verse 17. All right, little flock. All right. Brother Chris says, some will be appointed to drink that cup. Well, recently, like I said, we've been talking about a specific individual, and we need to see what he has to do when it comes to this cup, just to confirm something. So let's see. And Yahushua, going up to Jerusalem, took the 12 disciples apart in the way and said unto them, the 12 are the apostles, as you guys know. And he said unto them, behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man shall be betrayed unto the chief priests, unto the scribes, and they shall condemn him to death, and shall deliver him to the Gentiles to mock, to scourge, to crucify him, and the third day he shall rise again. Then came, listen here, little flock. So he told them exactly what was going to happen, what we read in John 18. This is exactly what we were reading here. He says is going to happen. Verse 20, he says, then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons. So now her name is Salome. Salome comes to Yahushua after he says he's about to be betrayed and crucified and everything. Salome approaches him. She has 2 sons. What are Salome's sons' name? They're called the sons of Zebedee. Who are these 2 men? Who are these 2 men? Salome's sons that she approaches Yahushua with. Who are they? Brother Chris, John, and James, if I'm not mistaken. That's exactly right. So now Yahusha is like, I'm about to be crucified. And then here comes this woman, Salome, and she approaches him with her two sons. One of her sons happens to be the beloved one we keep our focusing on. We're focusing our attention on the beloved one of Yahusha because he's got some work to do in the last days. Nobody knows this. You see, nobody knows it, but we're proving it. What exactly is he going to do? And who is he doing it with? Who is he talking to? Well, we see here it's a specific group of branches Yahusha has called out. He called them 12 and he separated them. And when he did this, Zebedee's mother comes. Now watch what she says. Zebedee's mother, Zebedee's wife, the mother of Zebedee's children, comes, worshiping him, verse 20, and desiring a certain thing of him. So she wants something from Yahusha. What does she want? Let's see. And he said unto her, will thou? In other words, what do you want? She said unto him, grant that these, my two sons, may sit, the one on thy right hand, and the other on the left, in thy kingdom. Stop, little flock. Did y'all hear that nice and good, what she asked for? What did she ask for before we continue? Before we continue and hit the coup de grace Lego on here, what is she asking for? For her sons, James and John. What is her request, little flock? Well, that's right, Brother Vaughn. We about to get into that. And then you guys will understand, as I read this next verse, then the flockulators will understand why I've been saying what I've been saying about the branch. It'll make perfect sense. Well, let's keep reading and see. Watch what he asked. So she said, let one of my sons sit on your right hand and one sit on your left in your kingdom. You see that? Brother Skill said to take John and James under his will and give them high elevated positions as well. When you come into your kingdom, if somebody's sitting on your right hand, then what does that mean? Well, didn't Yahusha go to the right hand of his father? Skeet-and-deedly, can you understand me? So if Yahusha ascended to his father's right hand, then if she's asking for one to sit on your right hand, then doesn't that mean the same position that Yahusha's in with his father? She's asking for one to be put in the same position that he's in with his father? If you follow what I'm saying? Do y'all follow what I'm saying? Brother Carlton said, basically that they reign with Christ. Exactly right. That you be reigning with him as joint heirs and equal. That's what she's asking for. Now, let's see what the requirement in order to do that is. Yahusha answered and said, you know not what you ask. Are you able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of? Stop, marinate. Now let's percolate. And to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? Stop. So it's not only drinking the cup, is it, little flock? But also, are you able to be baptized with the same baptism that I am baptized with? What does baptism mean, little flock? We understood what the cup means. Cup means suffering, to endure hardship, to endure hard circumstances, even to endure hatred without a cause, to also endure iniquity and mistreatment, and maybe even martyrdom. You see what I'm saying, little flock? To endure that until the end, that's the cup. And then also, can you be baptized with the baptism? What does the baptism mean? What is baptism? That's right, Brother Chuck. It's to be washed clean. So now I got a question for the flockulators, because the flockulators are a unique group of people that understand this nugget when I ask this question. Is there a man that you read about in the Bible who's a servant of God with a capital name written in the Bible, who was washed clean of his iniquity and given the same garments of the high priest that Yahushua wore? Did that happen in your Bibles? Did the grandson show it to you? And then we'll continue to percolate. If you guys' answer is yes. Brother Vaughn said to be made blameless. As we started this conversation, to be made perfect, complete, as you said, blameless, spotless. You see that? So then to inherit Yahushua, what Yahushua has, to inherit what he is. And I proved that on the other messages, but we're going to continue. All right. Brother Vaughn said, yes, Chuck, absolutely. Chris, yep. Okay, so y'all with me. Y'all following this. You see what I mean? And watch this, little flock. Watch this. So now we understand be baptized means to be washed. And you guys, we read it about the branch when he got lifted up and he got washed clean, see, of his iniquity, right? So then we know this has happened to this man whose name is the branch. We just need to figure out who is the branch, where it come from. Well, we're discovering it. You see, little flock, we're discovering it. You see? He's a real interesting man of the end times, and he's got to come back and do another job. We're going to prove that to you guys, because he's the one that was given the responsibility of doing it. Let's continue. Watch what he says in the next verse, little flock. So then he asked them, are you able to drink the cup and to be baptized? They said, verse 22, they said to him, we are able. So what did they say, little flock? The James and John said, no, we can't do it. Nope, I can't drink on that cup. You got to drink. Hell no, I ain't drinking it. Shit. Nope, I'm lactose intolerant. I can't drink it. It ain't even milk, nigga. And you're talking about you lactose intolerant. We know your ass scared to drink the cup. Y'all hear what I'm saying, little flock? They said we are able to drink it. Who said we are able? James and John did. Not just any old random people. James and John said they could. Now, let's continue. And he saith unto them, you shall drink indeed of my cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. So then, are they going to drink the cup and be baptized? Is they going to do it? They said they able to do it. Is they going to do it? Is they going to do it? I said, is they going to do it? Now, these two that's going to do this, watch how it makes the other branches feel. Watch. Just to prove all things. Watch how they're going to feel about this. The other branches, there are 10 more, aren't they? There were 12 there. The 2 were brought forward and were told, hey, if you can drink the cup and be baptized, then hey, let's see what happens. Excuse me, little flock. Let's see what happens. He says, but to sit on my right hand and on my left, it is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father. So Abba knows who's going to get these spots. You see it? But y'all are going to drink the cup and you are going to be baptized. So you're going to go through the experiences that I have to make you know me. You see that, little flock? So that you can know me, because you know a person through your experiences, like I started off saying earlier. You see? All right. When the 10 heard it, so the other branches, when they heard that, how did they feel? They were moved with indignation against the 2 brethren. Stop. So how did they feel about James and John when they heard that? How did the other branches feel? Skeet and diddly, can you understand me? Why do you think they felt that way? Now that you guys know how they felt, because it says how they felt, they were moved with indignation toward the 2. Why? Why do you guys think? Why did the other branches get indignation with these 2 branches? Why is that? Brother Vaughn said envy. Brother Carlton said they were like, who y'all to ask for that honor? You ain't lying. Brother Chris said, most likely that envy and that jealousy. You see that? Or fear of missing out? Yeah, envy, jealousy, like y'all said. Who the hell is y'all niggas to be sitting up there acting like you somebody? You see what I mean? I told you guys. I said people, they'd be like, damn, grandson, I mean, you sure are connecting a lot of Legos and everything. I mean, how the hell are you able to do this with the Bible? My own family members have come to me and said, I've never seen anybody do what you do with the Bible. I mean, you know the Bible unlike anybody I've ever seen. This is their own testimony. And as soon as I tell them why that's the case, it's because of who I am, they get indignated. They get indignated. Y'all hear me today? They get indignated with a nigga. They be like, who the hell you think you is, nigga? We used to play softball together when we was kids. And now you talking about you some special guy or something. Well, didn't it say that's how they felt about them? The disciples felt that way about them? Didn't it say it? All right, then it did. All right. And y'all are all confirming they got indignant. So the followers of Christ got indignant with their own brothers. You guys see that there? Now let's see. But Yahusha called them unto him, and he said, you know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you. But whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. So stop, little flock. Come on, and let's prove all things. So then, John and James, who are going to go through this cup and this baptism, but he don't know which hand they're going to sit on. It ain't up to him to decide. He said the Father's going to decide. But when the other disciples heard that they were going to be elevated, then they got indignant toward them and mad. And then Yahushua said, well, those ones that are greatest among you are actually your ministers. So then that means that the greatest of the apostles is the apostle who ministers to the other apostles. Come on. Now, who do you guys think that is? I've told you what I'm here to do. I ain't never lied to you, and I never will. It doesn't matter how strange it may sound to you. I've told you guys I am the branch speaking to the branches. Is that not what I've told you? Is that not what I've proven to you? And have I not shown you that it's prophecy? Well, we're going to continue to dig a little bit deeper in case you guys notice I can always keep going deeper with this thing. Well, y'all flocculating, then y'all know why that's the case. All right. So he says, the chief among you, let him be your servant, even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life a ransom for many. And as they departed from Jericho, a great multitude followed him. You see that, little flockulators? So then we see that there are two. Now, if I can go to the Old Testament and prove this here, then you guys really got to be like, wait, this guy really is onto something. Sheesh. All right. Now, you guys remember about the branch. We were reading in the book of Zechariah, right? Let's go back to Zechariah. Let's go back to Zechariah chapter 4, and let's see what we find, little flockulators. Let's see what we find. All right. Brother Carter says, stand tall, grandson. I ain't got no choice, bruh. I ain't got no choice. That's what I'm going to do. Stand strong like an oak tree. Y'all hear me? John was his most favorite disciple because of his ultimate loyalty. That's what we're getting into. That's what we're proving today, Robert. Y'all see that, little flock? Because of his loyalty to his husband. Like Paul said, I have espoused you all to Christ. What does espoused mean? Did Paul say that? I have espoused you unto Christ, a spotless, blameless virgin. So now do y'all understand that language? You see? You're being married to Christ. Well, one is his beloved, the husband's beloved one. You see that? That's what we're talking about today. Now, Zechariah chapter 4. Now, Zebedee's mother said, let one sit on your right hand and on your left hand. All those in agreement say Khan, K-A-N, say Khan. All those in agreement with that. Zebedee's mother came and said, let one sit on your right hand, one sit on your left. All right. Zechariah chapter 4. Now, let's see what we see here. Verse 1. Let's see what we see. That's right, Brother Carlton. Espouse means to be set off to be married. That's right. like engaged. Y'all see it? All right. Zechariah chapter 4, let's start at verse 1. And the angel that talked with me came again and waked me as a man that is wakened out of his sleep, and said to me, what do you see? And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick, all of gold, with a bowl upon the top of it. Y'all hear that, little flock? A candlestick made out of gold with a bowl on top of it, and his 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps which are upon the top thereof. So what is Zechariah seeing here? Break it down, flockulators, for him. What is he looking at? What is Zechariah looking at there? What is it called? I know my brother Skill, my brother Cut, y'all know exactly what it's called, because y'all see him everywhere in the land where y'all living at. So what is Zechariah looking at there? That's right. See, I knew my brothers know what's up. The menorah. That's what Zechariah sees. Now, where is the menorah also mentioned? Could it be the book of Revelation? I saw 7 golden candlesticks, and one standing in the midst like unto the Son of Man. Y'all remember that? Okay. That's right, brother Skill. The big lamp. That's right. So this is what Zechariah sees here in Zechariah 4. Now let's continue. So he sees this lamp. And verse 3, and 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the left side thereof. Doesn't this sound eerily similar to what Zebedee's mother asked for? We know that there's one standing in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks. John revealed who that was. Now there's 2 olive trees that are on the either side of that menorah. There are 2 trees, one on the right hand and one on the left. Y'all still stand with me and y'all following me? Okay? Y'all stand with me and is y'all following me? So I answered, watch this, little flock. So I answered and spake to the angel that talked with me, saying, what are these? So Zechariah says, I see a menorah and I see 2 olive trees. What are these? Let's see what the angel says. Knowest thou not what these be? So the angel said, excuse me, I went too far. What are these, my Lord? Then the angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. He said, you don't know what these are? And he said, no, my Lord. Then he answered and spake unto me. Look at how the Bible does this. I wasn't even expecting to quote this. If you guys been riding with this message, then you're going to be like, yeah, that connects like Legos with what you said earlier about God said, not by power nor by might, but by my spirit. You just said it earlier. Well, let's continue reading and let's just see. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, this is the word of I am unto Zerubbabel. Why Zerubbabel? Zerubbabel means he who was born in Babylon. Y'all hear that, little flock? He who's born in Babylon. That's what Zerubbabel means. Saying, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, says I am of armies. See how I was saying that earlier? This is how I'm going to do it the 3rd time. What is the 3rd part of the plant? It is the branch of the plant. You see it? So the branch of the plant will come in the spirit of truth, just like Yahushua said that he would come. You see, so that he could remind you of everything I have said unto you. That's what Yahushua said, right? He will remind you of everything. So one of his disciples or his branches that know him better than the rest will be the one that will remind you, correct? Can this be debated by anybody? The one in Yahushua's bosom is the one that's going to remind you of what Yahushua said, right? Okay, well, let's continue. Let's see. Now remember, Zebedee's mother, let one on your right hand and one on your left hand. The Lord is Yahushua. So let's see. Nor by power, nor by might, but by my spirit, says I am of armies. Who art thou, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel, thou shalt become a plain. You see what I'm saying to you, little flock? Your faith is going to move mountains and cast them into a sea. Well, that's what's happening here. Who are you, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel, the one born in Babylon. I told you guys that mystery. Abba said, also in the book of Zechariah, he would send to Babylon and he would pick out men wandered at, and he would bring them before a certain servant of his, whose name is the branch, and they would put crowns upon his head. Y'all remember how we were reading that? Okay, then. So let's continue and keep on reading here. All right. And he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shoutings. So Zerubbabel, the one born in Babylon, that saved, a firebrand plucked out of the fire, the Bible calls him, is going to bring forth the headstone. You see there? Shouting grace unto it. Grace, grace unto it. Told you guys, what did the grandson tell y'all? Yochanan means God is gracious. Didn't I tell you that? So the one in Yahusha, beloved one of Yahusha, is named God is gracious. You hear it? All right. So he's shouting grace unto it. Grace unto it. Watch this, little flock. Moreover, the word of I am came unto me, saying, the hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house. His hands shall also finish it. Now, who was you guys told by the Bible that would come in the last days and build the third temple? What is his name according to the Bible? And he's born in Babylon. And what is his name? And he shall build the temple, and he shall bear the glory. That's what the scripture says. Who is that? And what's his name? All you got to do is go back one chapter and then go forward 2 chapters, and then you'll have your answer. All right. All right. Now let's continue, little flock. His hands have laid the foundation, and his hands shall finish it. You see that? And you shall know that I am of armies have sent me unto you. For who have despised the day of small things? For they shall rejoice and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. I broke you guys down what the plummet and what the 7 are. I've broken it down to you guys several times. We're going to continue, though. That's right, Brother Chuck. That's right, Brother Vaughn. The branch, the scripture says it. Not no man says it. The Bible says the branch, he shall build the temple of I am, and he shall bear the glory. You see that? So now let's continue to read. Let's just continue. And those 7, they are the eyes of I am, which run to and fro through the whole earth. I told you guys the eyes of the body that run to and fro throughout your whole body. That is the dominion that Zerubbabel, or the one born in Babylon, which is the Joshua, which is the high priest, which is the man whose name is the branch. He has a plummet in his hand with 7 eyes on it. I broke that down to you what those 7 eyes are. Okay. Okay. So now, then answered I and said unto him, watch what he's going to ask, little flock. What are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick and upon the left side thereof? And I answered again and said unto him, what be these 2 olive branches, which through the 2 golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves? So now these 2 olive trees, these 2 olive branches, they're called, they also can secrete, if you will, or pour out of themselves some what? Golden oil out of themselves. So there are 2 branches that can release oil out of themselves. You see? And he's asking, who are they? And the angel says, you don't know who they are? Well, let's continue. And he answered me and said, knowest thou not what these be? See, you don't know who that is? And I said, no, my Lord, no, I don't know, said Zechariah. Watch what he says. Then said he, these are the 2, Skeely D on them, little flock. These are the 2, what? What does it say there on that page or on your screen? I'll let you guys say it. These are the 2, what? Skeetin' Lee, can you understand Chuck Peak? Skeetin' Lee, can you understand Chuck Peak? Can y'all understand what it say there, brother? It say the two, how many anointed ones? Because it said the anointed ones, right? How many anointed ones did it say? It says two, doesn't it? Now let's see where these two anointed ones are standing. Let's see. Then said, these are the two anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth. So then did you guys see the Lego go clickety clun clicker? Did you guys see it? Did the Lego click or did it not click? What was Zebedee's wife asking Yahusha for? It says she fell and worshipped him. So we know that's the Lord there. And then she said, let one sit on your right and your left. And then he said, can y'all drink the cup? They said, yes. Then he said, can you have the baptism? They said, yeah. And then he said, well, then you shall have it. But to sit on the right and the left, I don't know who's going to do that. Now we jump here all the way back in Zechariah and we find out that there are two anointed ones who stand next to the Lord of the whole earth, which was represented by a menorah. Now, I told you, when you read Revelation, you're going to see a menorah pop up and you're going to see one standing in the midst of it called the Son of Man. Is that right or is it right? Well, then you're going to, if you see that man, then you're going to see two standing next to him. And they also got golden oil that they can pour out. What does golden oil mean? Well, it says they're the anointed ones. What does anointed mean? What does chosen mean, or what does anointed mean? I just gave you the answer. What does anointed mean, guys? Chosen. That's right. So did it say that there are two chosen ones that stand next to the Lord of the whole earth? Is that what it said there? And they can pour oil out. And I asked you guys, what is the oil? Yahusha said, if you were wise, you'd have some in your lamp. What is it? What is the golden oil, guys? Faith. Brother Chris said, that's right. Brother Vaughn said the spirit mind. That's right. So now they have golden oil that they pour out of themselves. You see that there? And they're anointed to do it. Now, if they're standing next to the Lord of the whole earth, is this not the same thing that Salome was asking Yahusha for? Is it? All right, Revelation chapter 10. Revelation chapter 10. All right. So what have you discovered so far? That when Yahusha went to go start his suffering process, only one disciple came with him and endured it with him. Now, the others were scattered. Isn't that what we read? The others were scattered. Isn't that what we read? Yeah, it is. All right. Revelation chapter 10. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head. Wait. What was upon his head, little flockulators? A rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right hand, or excuse me, his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot upon the earth. What does that mean, little flock? He set his feet, one on the sea and one on the earth. What that mean? That's right, Brother Chuck Peak. That's right. Exercising dominion over the thoughts and over the feelings of the body. You see that? That's right, bros. Your thoughts and your feelings. You see? So now, Brother Robert here says something interesting. Now, we want to break it down spiritually because to understand it carnally doesn't do us any benefit, as Yahushua said. The flesh profits nothing. It is the spirit that quickens. So he says, Christ oil will go up through your spine, then to your brain when you hold your seed and meditate, and you open your third eye and eventually your crown chakra, and you can see and feel what Yahushua was seeing. So now, when he says here to hold your seed, what does that mean, little flock? We understand what it means fleshly, but we remember what Yahushua said, the flesh will not profit us to know it that way. So then what does it mean to hold your seed? Oh man, grandson, what are you, dumb or something? It means to hit no nut November, dude. Well, that represents a higher spiritual principle. So what is it that we're not wasting? What is it that we're not releasing? You see? But we're using it to make an offspring. What are we using to make the offspring? What is the seed of man? Brother Skill said, plant your idea as it has already been given by you. That's right. That's the seed you plant. Your idea, your thought, to be single-minded. That's right, bro. That's the seed you plant. That's right. Your idea, your thought is the seed you sow. That's the man, see? And you sow it, and when you sow it, you get a harvest. So what did Solomon say? Cast your bread upon the waters, and in many days you will receive it again. If you pay attention to the wind and the waves, then you will not receive it. But if you ignore the wind and the waves, then you will receive it. You see? Hold fast to what you have faith in. That's right, brother. See, hold fast. Do not pay attention to the wind and the waves. And then you will receive your bread back. You see, that's what Solomon was talking about. Tend your garden by using the spiritual mind. Brother Cut says the seed is the promise. That's right. That's right. That's the hope that we don't have any evidence in. Just like when a man ejaculates inside of a woman. You see how God has done it? Just like a man ejaculating in a woman. If he pulls it out and wastes it or pours it on the ground, then he will not get a seed. So we don't want to waste it or pour it on the ground. We want to actually pour it into the womb. So what is the womb? So that we know where to plant our seed. Where is the womb? What is the womb? The womb of creation, where you plant your seed, your mind. Okay? Okay? The secret place. That's right. Now, isn't a womb a secret place in a woman? You can't even see it. If no man has ever busted a nut and then afterwards he's like, yep, baby, right there. There's that little sperm. Look at him swimming to that egg. Oh, shit, you're pregnant. He jumped in that egg and fertilized it, girl. You're pregnant. No man ever even knew when it happened. He knew when he busted the nut, but he didn't know when the seed was fertilized. That's why Solomon goes on further, see? And he says, just as you know not how the bones of the baby form in its mother's womb. So you don't know how that happens. So you don't know how your manifestation will happen or the thing you desire, your hope. You don't know how. You see, you leave that up to the father, just like you leave the child in the womb up to the father. You can't do nothing to make him grow right. Y'all can think you're taking all the vitamins on time. You can think you ate all the right proper diet and every damn thing. You can think you did the right Pilates exercises and everything. You can think you did the perfect breathing exercises and everything. But it was Abba's grace that brought you through. Not nothing that you did, not nothing you ate, not no vitamins or no OBGYN or nothing. Y'all hear what I'm trying to say to you? All right. Nah. So he set his right foot upon the sea and his left foot upon the earth. And he cried with a loud voice as when a lion roareth. And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write. And I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not. So there are 7 things 7 thunders uttered that John knows what they uttered because he was about to write it. So he knows, but God said, don't write it. So then who knows what they uttered? Skeetin' deedle dee, can you understand me? Can you? So then who knows what the 7 thunders uttered? Who knows it, guys? While you guys are marinating on that, I'm going to keep on reading. And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven. And he sware by him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that are therein, earth, things that are in it, the sea, things that are in it. There shall be time no longer. So now he makes this decree. There shall be time no longer. Watch what he does after he says there shall be no more time. But in the days of the voice of the 7th angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God shall be finished. Stop. So when the 7th angel starts to sound, what does that mean? God's mystery is being finished. Did you guys know it was a mystery what he was doing here? Did you know he was doing a mystery? Well, the Bible says a man and a woman are a mystery concerning Christ and his church. Ain't that what it say? Skeely D clickety click. All right, let's continue, little flock. Let's continue. All right. Now watch this. Then the mystery of God should be finished. What mystery? As he have declared to his servants, the prophets. So when I talk about the branch, who do I go to tell you guys about it? Do I go to a prophet or do I go to the prophets? And they all break it down for you guys. Is that where I go to tell you guys about the prophecy of the branch? Do I go to the prophets? So do you see how the Bible said it was a mystery? Come on now. Come on now. All right, continuing, little flock. Continuing. Then the mystery of God should be finished, as he has declared to his servants, the prophets. And the voice which I heard from heaven spoke unto me and said, go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. So then John was told to go to the angel and to do what? He was told to go to the angel and to do what when he got to the angel, little flock? What was he told? He was told to take something. What was he told to take? We about to uncover some stuff. So let's get leady. What was he told to take for that angel, little flock? That's right, Brother Chuck. The little book. The little book. You see it? So now, he was told to take this little book. Did this happen in the prophets anywhere? Was there a prophet anywhere in the Bible that was told to eat a little book? Was there? And if there is, you guys put his name in the chat here. If there was someone in the Old Testament told this same thing, and who was that? I was told to do this exact same thing in the Old Testament. No, my bros, not Zechariah. Not Zechariah. It was another prophet, and he was told the same thing about some writing on a scroll. He was told to take it and eat it. Who was that? That's right, Brother Chris. Ezekiel. Now, when God talks to Ezekiel, what does he call Ezekiel? He calls him by a title. What does he call Ezekiel? That's right, brothers. He calls Ezekiel son of man. And Ezekiel gets a roll and he puts it in his mouth and he eats it. And it has a certain type of flavor and it has a certain type of effect. So we can confirm that when we read this. That's why I'm going back to Ezekiel. Now, he's called the Son of Man. Now, when Ezekiel talks to Israel, what happens to them? Do they resurrect or do they stay a dead bones? What happens to them when the Son of Man speaks? So once he gets the book put in his mouth, he speaks to the people. They do what? You guys know about Ezekiel, the Son of Man. When he ate the roll, he's talked to the people, and what happened to them? They are quickened. That's right, Brother Chris. They come together and become a living being again. So now let's see. So if that's what happens when the Son of Man gets a roll put in his mouth, he's chosen and elected to resurrect the dead bones of Israel. You see? Revelation 10. Let's keep on reading. Verse 8, and the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again, saying, go and take the little book, which is open in the hand of the angel, which standeth upon the sea and the earth. And I went unto the angel and said to him, give me that little book. He said, give me that book. And he said to me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Is that not the same thing when Ezekiel ate the scroll? It was sweet as honey in his mouth, but it made his belly bitter. Is it not the same effect? I need you guys to confirm it. Is the same effect. That's right, Brother Chuck, to come alive. That's right, Brother Vaughn, to stand. Do y'all see what I'm saying about what God is doing? He's not doing it by power nor by might. He's doing it by his spirit. Can't you see it? He's doing it by his spirit. So now, excuse me. Oh, my bad, y'all. My bad. My phone was acting crazy there. Brother Skill said, yep, Aroni, yep, that's right. Okay. So now it's happening again here in Revelation, and it's happening to another person, not Ezekiel. This time it's happening to who? Who's told to eat the book? Now, once he eats the book, if he's not told that he's going to talk again, then nothing of what I said, it matters. But if he's told he's going to talk again, then we're on the right track then. Then we're on the right trackety track. All right. So let's continue and let's see. So he said, it made his belly bitter, which I were just confirming, and it shall make in thy mouth sweet as honey. So let's see if he takes it. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand, and I ate it up. And it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. So then is a transformation taking place like with Ezekiel? Ezekiel is called the Son of Man, and he had a book put in. And then we're seeing that the same thing is happening here, aren't we? So if he got the book put in, then is he now the Son of Man? Just asking. I'm just asking a question. Can you answer the grandson? I'm just asking me a question. Can you answer the grandson? Can y'all answer the grandson? If you get a book put in your mouth and it's sweet like honey when you eat it, but your belly is bitter, what you starting to become? Who are you? What you becoming if you go through this process? That's what I'm asking y'all. All right. Now, let's see. Remember, if he eats the book, if he starts talking, we're on the right track. Let's see. And he said to me, so after he ate that book, he said to me, you must prophesy again. Wait a minute here. So the beloved one of Yahusha is the one who eaten this book here, right? Did it call him a prophet? Skeet and diddly dee. Did it call him a prophet? Oh boy, did it? That's all I needed to know here. That's all I need to know. Yep, aroni, like a damn pepperoni. You hear this shit? Yepperoni. This cannot be denied what I'm saying. It's just that it wasn't revealed because it was a mystery. Didn't we just read that it was? Didn't we just read that it was a mystery that was hidden, given to the prophets? And then I showed you guys right there in the prophets that they had talked about this mystery, but nobody knew. The disciples understood about Christ. That's why it would say, hey, man, I remember where it was written. You will often see that said about the apostles. They will see Christ do something, and then they will remember that it was written of him. But the mystery was about the branch. Nobody had knew anything about that dude at all. But like I said, did it say he's going to prophesy again? Is that what it says? And if he's going to prophesy, then that means he's a prophet. Did you guys know that the beloved John of Yahusha was a prophet? Did y'all know that? Just asking. I'm just asking a question. Now, I have another question here, little flock. If this guy would turn his alarm, he's driving with his alarm going off. You're like, shut up, grandson. Stop telling the mysteries. Anywho, so he said unto me, you must prophesy again before many peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. So now, if this is the last book of the Bible, when is John, as we just discovered here, going to prophesy again? And why is he going to prophesy again? What does he have to prophesy about? And when did he do it? For anybody who thinks they know. When did John fulfill this? Brother Cut in the building. I know. He sure was tripping. I saw him when he pulled up. He pulled up right up here next to me. He's still sitting over there next to me. He pulled up next to me, and then he's still sitting in his car. All of a sudden, his alarm starts going off, and then he starts slowly creeping up the street closer toward me. And then now he done pulled over to the side and parked. Nigga delivering a pizza. He got a pizza in his hand. I should show y'all this nigga. He looking around, got a pizza in his hand. Yeah, okay. That's why your alarm was going off while you was driving. So yeah, devil tripping. So now, was John told that he was going to prophesy again? And then if he is, when? That's my question. When is he going to prophesy, and what about? You guys got any suggestions here? Brother Chuck Peak says in the last days. There you have it. So then, why is John the one that has to come and prophesy again? That's right, Brother Vaughn. Repentance. That's right, Brother Cut. Armageddon. Last days. That's right. That's when he comes back to prophesy again. Now, when he comes back to prophesy again, was he given the roll in his mouth, the book? Yes. So then when he talks, he can actually resurrect people from the dead, can he? Can't he? Because that's what the book being put in your mouth represent. We found that out by Ezekiel when he prophesied to the dry bones, and they all were the house of Israel, and they all became an army. Correct? And he's called the Son of Man. And I asked you guys, who was that Son of Man that's going to come prophesy in the last days? The Bible told you who it was. That's right, Brother Cut. That's the mystery. Who knows a husband better than his wife? And where does a wife sit in respect to her husband when she's sitting at a table? Where does a man have his wife when he's sitting at a table with a group of people? He has her up under his arm. Like this here. This is my baby right here. Well, where was John when Yahushua was dining? Come on, guys. It's not even hard once you see it, but you just have to see it, because the scripture says, how can you praise the one you've never even heard of? And how can you hear about him without a preacher? Skeely D. Come on here. Skeely D. So that's right, Brother Cut. He knows Yahushua's Torah the best. That's right. And then he proves it with what he wrote in the Bible. Who was the one that told us what God was? God is what? First of all, little flock. God is what? So Brother Robert here says, in the last days, there will be about 144,000 of real people, and they wake up nations, manipulation and deception. That's right. That's right. They're the branches of Yahusha. You see that? But as we know, the Son of Man must speak to the house of Israel. Who is Yahusha sent to? Look how it connects like a Lego. Yahusha said, and I don't care what men say, I care what Yahusha said. Yahusha said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So then when we look at Ezekiel, the Son of Man, he's speaking to a group or a nation of people. And then God says exactly who that nation or group of people is. He says, those dry bones are the whole house of Israel. And they were dead until the Son of Man spoke to them, and then they stood on their feet, an army. So the 144,000, are they army members? Well, are they standing on Mount Zion? Well, they're not going to stand no damn where if they're dead, dry bones. Somebody got to resurrect those dry bones so that they can stand on that mountain, because the dry bones are carnally minded. They have a zeal after God. I bear witness of that, but not after knowledge. They need the Spirit to correct their minds, because their minds are lost in all types of carnality. The 144,000, that is, even. Their minds have been deceived, as the Bible says. But because of grace, you see it? Because of grace, that deception didn't have power over them. You see it? Because they overcame by the blood of the Lamb. Can y'all see it today, little flockers? It ain't hard. That's right, Brother Chris. Now, who told us that answer? That's right, Brother Chuck. That's right. And that's right, Brother Cut. You're among them. That's right. He's doing it right now. You see, there are men in this group, in this chat right now, that have been reborn. Let's look here. There's a brother here named Von Reborn. Can't you guys see it? What I'm saying to you? You got to be born again. So the nation of Israel was dead in their sin, thinking that they can serve God by doing carnal things. Some of those carnal things we have even read here in this chat. You see? That's what I'm ridding you guys of. I'm shaking all of that dry bone shit off of you so that you can be quickened in the spirit and put all of the carnal things you had learned away and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. Can't y'all see it, little flock of ladies? That's right, Von Reborn. Elijah. That's right. That's right. You see? Not by works. That's right, Brother Cut. Not by any works. You see? That's right, Brother Chris. John told us that. God is love. So when somebody says God is love, they only know that because John said it. Now, how the hell does John know the Father? That's my question. Because there's only one person who knows the Father. So how come John knows the Father? Why is that? Why does John know the Father? Oh, I love you too, brother, from the bottom of my heart. I love all y'all flockulators, man. That's for sure. That's why I'm a servant to you guys. That's why I do what I do right now. I could be doing something else. I'm not. I'm doing this because I'm a servant to my brothers. The greatest of you shall be your minister. So I'm not telling people things that they don't know. What I'm doing is reminding them of what they do know. You see what I'm saying to you little flockulators? You see? That's right, Brother Cut. And it's just that simple. Because he's the grandson. You see? He's the grandson. You see? So now he's going to prophesy again before peoples and nations and tongues and kings. You see it? Now I had already proven to you guys when Yahushua was on the cross, he said, Mary, this is now your son. Son, this is now your mother. And John took Mary into his own house from that very day. Do you hear what I'm trying to say? Do you see how all the Legos connect when it comes to this beloved one of Yahushua? Now, this beloved one of Yahushua, as we read earlier, he's going to drink the cup. We read that. He's also going to be baptized. We read that. He's going to sit on the right hand or the left hand of Yahushua. And then we found in Zechariah that we saw that the angel showed Zechariah the same thing. Like it said, the mystery that's been hidden in the prophets. You see it? Brother Carlton says he was the closest to Christ in his bosom. So now, you guys got that breakdown that John was the closest to Christ. So now, if Christ was going to send one back to remind you of what he would what he had said to you, which is the branches. He didn't say anything to the world. He's talked to the branches. So the branches need to be reminded of what Yahushua said. Who's going to remind the branches? According to what we have discovered today and what we have read. All right, we almost out of here, little flock. Got a few more points, and then we'll be done with this little flock of letters. All right. Let's go back to Matthew 26. Okay, Matthew 26. Let's go to um, 55. Okay, Matthew 26:55. Now we said earlier in Matthew, remember Yahushua said, "You shall all be offended of me this night, and you will be scattered." Okay, so all the followers of Christ were going to depart from him and run away when the shit got hot. Y'all see this? Now, if the same disciple doesn't run away, the one I keep telling you about, then there should be no discrepancy about who Yahushua would send. Why would he send anybody else if they all departed and were offended at him? Why would he send any of the other ones? That's my question. If they all were offended, then why would he send any of the other ones that are offended? Now, the question is, we got to see who wasn't offended. Let's see. In that same hour, Matthew 26:55, in that same hour said Yahushua to the multitude, "Are you come out against me with thieves as a thief, with swords and staves for to take me? I sat daily with you, teaching in the temple, and you laid no hold on me. But all this was done that the scripture of the prophet might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled. And they that, excuse me, did you guys hear that right there, or did you hear it? Let me read it again. But all this was done that the scripture of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled. Stop. So what happened? When they came to take Yahusha, what did the branches do? That's my question. What did the branches do when they come to take Yahusha? That's right, Brother Vaughn. They took off. That's right, Brother Chris. They got offended. They said, it says they fled. They fled. Get the hell out of here. Right? Now it says all of the disciples did. But when we were reading in John 8, it says one went in with him when he was taken. So did you guys hear what the grandson, the mystery he's revealing to you? What am I revealing to you guys? Did all the disciples leave? Well, then all the disciples forsook him and fled. Then they had, watch this, and they that had laid hold on Yahusha led him away to Caiaphas the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. But Peter followed him afar off unto the high priest's palace and went in and sat with the servants to see the end. Now, you guys, if you were reading John with me, then you know what that means, verse 58. Peter followed afar off, and he went in and sat with the servants. So when Peter followed Yahusha, who was with Yahusha? All the disciples had left. Peter was following from a distance, but there was one that was with Yahusha, that went in with Yahusha, that had to come back out and get Peter so that he could go in. As we read, it said Peter went in. But somebody brought Peter in. Who was that disciple that brought Peter in? We read it earlier in John 18. And who was that disciple that went in with Yahusha to the high priest Caiaphas? Who is that? Now that we've discovered they all took off and skedaddled, who didn't take off and skedaddle? That's right, Brother Carlton. You see how it keeps coming back to the same guy? Everybody else ran, but he didn't. So they were all offended and took off. Peter tried to hang on, see, because in the end, these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these three is love. Who was the one that said God is love? That would be John. So these three is Peter, James, and John, which represent faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these three is love. So when the shit hits the fan, can y'all see it? And the whole world turn away from their belief in Christ and scatter because they're offended at what it's going to take. And what it takes is suffering. To suffer injustice, to suffer wrongfully, to suffer without a cause. Once it's time to do that, many people will turn away from Christ and say, he must have cursed me. Christ doesn't love me, because if he loved me, he wouldn't let me go through this. He wouldn't let you drink the cup that he had to drink. He said, follow me, and the fearful shall indeed not follow a faithful man. They cannot. They will not. Read about Moses and the children of Israel and all of the drama and the beef that he had with the Israelites out there. Read about it. So Peter followed him off unto the high priest and went in and sat with the servants to see the end. He wanted to see what was going to happen. You see, Now let's see. If there's anything else I want from here real quick. And then it goes forward, talks about everything they did. They beat him, they spit on him, they did all these things. That's when Peter denied him. Where was the one that Jesus loved? Where was that disciple that Yahushua loved when Peter was denying him? He was right there. So then he gets all the way to the cross. Now remember, he said you all are going to be offended, but John's not. So then what does that mean at the end of the world, guys? What does it mean? That there's one faithful branch that is not offended at what it takes to enter into the kingdom. And he's going to remind the other branches of that so that they're not offended. Because who remained with him through his suffering? Y'all can't deny what I'm saying is the truth. Who bore the suffering with him? Who drank the cup with him? Who was at the cross with him? Who did Yahushua give the inheritance to? Who's going to come and prophesy again? You see how it just keeps connecting and keeps connecting? So to say that John does not have a work to do in the last days, you'd be a liar if you said that. Because he does indeed have a work to do in the last days. And what is his work to do? It's to fecundate the waters and to quicken the dry bones of the nation of Israel, and to put sinew upon their bones again, to speak into them and to prepare the way for the Spirit to enter in. Just like Vaughn was saying earlier, Brother Vaughn was breaking down. Y'all see it today, little flockulators? You see it? All right. All right. A little bit more and then we'll be done, little fly. A little bit more and then we'll be done. John 20, verse 2. John 20, verse 2. Then she runneth, this is Mary, and cometh to Simon Peter, and to the other disciple whom Yahushua loved, and saith unto them, they have taken away the Lord out of the sepulchre, and we know not where they have laid him. Peter therefore went forth, and that other disciple, look, I keep saying that, and that other disciple, and came to the sepulchre. So they both ran together, and the other disciple did outrun Peter, and came first to the sepulchre. You guys hear it again there. So Peter and the other disciple are running to the tomb to see if Yahushua's there or not, and the one other disciple outran Peter and got there first. You guys keep seeing how this just keeps on happening over and over and over again. All right, and I'm going to make one more point, and then, like I said, I'm done. All right. John 13. John 13. Let's go to verse, John 13, let's go to verse 22. All right. This is when Yahushua said, I'm going to be betrayed. Now let's see what happens. John 13, 22. Then the disciples, the branches, looked one on another, doubting of whom he spake. Like, who's going to betray Yahushua? Now there was leaning on Yahushua's bosom one of his disciples, whom Yahushua loved. You see, Simon Peter therefore beckoned to him. Who is Simon Peter beckoning to? He's beckoning to the one whom Yahushua loves. He beckoned to him that he should ask who it should be of whom he spake. So now let's see. He then lying on Yahusha's breast. So where is the beloved one? He's lying on Yahusha's breast, like I told you guys. He saith unto him, Lord, who is it? Yahusha answered, He it is to whom I shall give a sop when I have dipped it. And when he had dipped the sop, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. So now Peter was like, who it is, man? Who it is? Then Yahusha just sitting there chilling with the one on his bosom. So Peter said, hey, you, the one on Yahusha's bosom, you ask him. Do you guys see what's going on here? You have a special relationship with him. He'll answer you if you ask him. Peter, you're one of the disciples too. Well, yeah, but I know that. But I need to ask John to ask him. Do you guys see why that's the case? Because he know him intimately. Can you follow it with me? Hope so. Hope so. All right. Like I said, a little bit more, and then we'll be done. Matter of fact, one more scripture, little flag, and then we'll be out of here. All right. Let's see. All right, let's go to John 21, and then we'll be done with this message, little flock. John 21, and then we'll be done. Now watch this, little flock. Watch what's about to happen here. John 21. After these things, Yahusha showed himself again to the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias. And on this wise showed he himself. There were together Simon Peter, Thomas, called Didymus, or the twin, Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, and the sons of Zebedee, that's James and John, and two other of his disciples. Simon Peter says to them, I go fishing. And they said unto him, we also go with thee. They went forth and entered into a ship immediately, and that night they caught nothing. But when the morning was now come, Yahusha stood on the shore, but the disciples knew not that it was Yahusha. Then Yahusha said to them, Children, have ye any meat? And they answered him, No. And he said unto them, Cast thy net on the right side of the ship, and you shall find. And they cast therefore, and now they were not able to draw it for the multitude of the fishes. Now here we go, little flock. So now, Yahusha is already ascended to the right hand of the Father and everything. Now he has appeared to them. And let's see who notices him first. And if it's the same guy again, then you guys know the grandson is really just keep on whack-a-moling this thing. Okay, let's see. Brother Cut says here, that's right, brother. You're absolutely right. Why is John not mentioned by name in a lot of these cases? Could it be because it's a mystery? What do you guys think? How come even when John is writing, he doesn't even say, I'm John doing this. He's saying the one in whom Yahusha loved, that disciple, that other disciple. Why does it keep saying that like that? Well, let's see. All right. Verse 7. So now they cast the net on the right side because that's what Yahusha said, and they caught the fish. Now, when they did that, let's see what happens next. Therefore, that disciple, verse 7, whom Yahusha loved. So now the same disciple whom Yahusha loved, after they had caught the fish, he starts to talk first. What does he say? He said unto Peter, it is the Lord. So who recognized him first, little flock? Come the hell on here. Come the hell on. Who recognized him first? Y'all know who recognized him first because it said it. Now let's continue. It is the Lord. Now when Simon Peter heard, that's right, brother Cut, good old Johnny. Now when Simon Peter had heard that it was the Lord, not saw or recognized or perceived, when he heard, how did he hear that it was the Lord there? So then, is it any different than what the grandson has told you what will happen in the last days? Somebody who recognizes him will reveal him to the people. The book of Revelation is written by none other than good old Johnny. So who has to prophesy again and reveal him to the people? Well, you guys know who it is. It's good old Johnny. And I asked you guys, did you know John was an apostle and a prophet? Did you guys know it? Because he's got to prophesy. So who's the last prophet? You can't even deny it once you hear it. I want you guys to say who you think it is. Who's the last prophet that's going to prophesy again, according to the book of Revelation, which is the last book of the Bible? So who's the last prophet? Skeely D, I hope they can understand me. That's right, brother Cut. You see? You see? That's right. Now watch this, little flock of ladies. Watch this, and then we'll be done, like I said. John 21. Okay? John 21, verse 19. This spake he, signifying by what death he should glorify God. And when he had spoken this, he said unto him, Follow me. Then Peter, watch, little flock. That's right, brother Carlton. It's John. The same guy we've been talking about. The same guy we keep talking about. Now watch this. Then Peter, turning about, seeth the disciple whom Yahushua loved, following. So now Peter is walking with Yahushua. Yahushua said, Follow me. Peter is walking with Yahushua. While he's walking with Yahushua, he turns and he looks at the one whom Yahushua loved, correct? Now let's see what he says about the one whom Yahushua loved. Peter, seeing him, saith to Yahushua, Lord, what shall this man do? So he said, what about the one you love? What is he going to do? Now let's see what Yahushua says here, little guys. Let's see. He said, what shall this man do? Yahushua said unto him, if I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? Follow thou me. So he said, follow me. Peter started following him. And as soon as he started following him, he started to think about that other disciple. What about this guy? What is he going to do? So then he asked Yahushua, what about that guy? What about Johnny? Good old Johnny. What's Johnny going to do? And Yahushua said, if he will that if I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to you? What I do with him, what does it mean to you? Isn't that what he said to Peter? What I decide to do with this branch, what does it matter to you what I do with it? Follow me is what you need to do. Now let's continue to see. Then went this saying abroad. I've read this before to the flockulators. Then went this saying abroad to the brothers. So the branches, they started to have a saying about John. What was that saying? That disciple, see how it specifies that branch, that disciple should not die. Skidly D, did you hear that there? That he should not die. Yet Yahushua said not unto him that he shall not die, but if I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? That's what he said. Y'all hear that there, little flock? So then there was a saying concerning one of Christ's branches that branch would never die and that he would tarry until Yahushua came back. Isn't that what it said there? And it's only like 2 or 3 verses left, and that's the end of the book of John. So the mystery concerning what will this man do has been revealed here today in this message. And I've been revealing it. Haven't I? You guys got ears to hear it. If you got ears to hear and eyes to see it, then you know that what you have heard is the truth. Everlasting life. That's right, brother. The golden oil that leaks from the sons of oil, the Bible calls them, that we read about in Zechariah, the two anointed ones that stand next to the Lord. If he has oil that he quickens with, then what do they have? They also quicken. So I'll tell you guys, just like Yahusha said before I end this message. Yahusha said, the first Adam came and he died, but the second Adam come a quickening spirit. I'll tell you guys the same thing about the grandson Abel. The grandson Abel came and he was killed, but now the second grandson comes a quickening spirit. You see it, little flockulators? Hope y'all do. So, little flock, I'm about to go ahead and get on out of here. Like I said, that was dessert connected to the last message that we've been dropping about the branch, about what he's here to do, about the prophecy that God says concerning him. And now I have proven it through all the old and the new, that this one is the beloved. And when you become the beloved, you are actually, that's a code word for son. I asked a question earlier. How does John know the Father? Because there's only one who knows the Father. Who is the one that knows the Father, according to the scripture? The brother said, oil lights the lamp, the thunder shakes the sky. And that beloved one, he's called, him and his brother are called the sons of thunder. See how that goes? Yahusha called him that. And he called him that for a reason. You see it? Peace to you, brother Vaughn. Vaughn Reborn. Peace to you, brother. Like I said, I'm about to get out of here, little flock. I hope you all were edified by that message. And I hope you all know what it means for you. You nation of Israel, and you flockulators, and you men who are wandered at, and you elect, select, chosen of Yahusha. And all these people that are running around talking about they've chosen God and they've done this for God and they've done this to obtain this and done that, you know, they're just lying. Because there's two anointed ones that stand next to the Lord of the whole earth, and I'll break that down for you guys. Do you know that there's an Ark of the Covenant? And on the Ark of the Covenant are two angels. And those two angels' wings touch over what's called the mercy seat in the Holy of Holies of the temple. Those two angels that wings touch are grace and mercy. I hear that, little flockulators? So peace to y'all. Like I said, I hope that was edifying to you guys. And y'all be blessed tonight. And by the way, it's my birthday today. For all those who don't know. 2/25/25. And I broke that down, what that means, little flock. We're coming to a completion. We're coming to a finishing. As the scripture says, when that seventh angel sounds, then the mystery is being revealed. Now, I couldn't even be telling you guys what I'm telling you unless that it's that time for that mystery to be revealed of the beloved. Because like I told you guys, before I get off of here, my final question is, who knows the Father? And then you'll understand why John knows the Father. You see? Because who knows the Father? All right, well, that's right, guys. That's right. That's right, fellas. Thank you, Brother Chuck. Thank you, Brother Carlton. Thank y'all, brothers. Thank y'all. Yep. It's my birthday today, man. You see? Matthew 11:25. At that time, Yahusha answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and the prudent, and has revealed them unto babes. You see? That's us, little flock. And Yahusha was glad about it. You see? Even so, Father, for it seemed good in thy sight. All things are delivered unto me of my Father, and no man knows the Son, but the Father. Neither knoweth any man the Father save the Son, and he to whomsoever the Son will reveal him. So there you have it, little flock. Nobody knows the Father but the Son. And the code word for being made a son is being called the beloved. Y'all see it, little flock? Y'all see it? So there's a grandson who's been elevated to son status. And that's what you're reading about in Revelation. That's why it's caught up to his throne. He's a grandson elevated to son status. That's John receiving the inheritance from Yahusha. And then I proved it to you guys in the Bible, and it's a mystery. You see it, little flock? And it's a mystery, but it's been revealed now. That's right, y'all. The Son knows him. That's right. John, the Son of Man, the beloved, the anointed one. That's right. That's right. Happy birthday, beloved. Well, yep. Thanks, guys. Thank y'all. I appreciate that, man. So I'm about to get back to my little flock of littles at the crib and hopefully take a little bit of stress and off my wife. She can get some relief and rest while I take over for her and get them little flock of littles happy and chilling and food and whatever else they need when I get back. Clean diapers and everything else. So I'm about to get back on daddy duty, but y'all be blessed, little flock. And hopefully soon we'll be doing this again, if it be out as well. Y'all rest well, y'all be easy. And I am blessed, I am loved, I am safe, and I am secure. Y'all be blessed, little flock of laters. Peace.